Hell yeah, he like.
What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's well. Gary, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being here. If you're in the chat, go ahead and say hi. If you're watching, go ahead and say hi in the chat. Oh, my mic is loose. I don't need these right now, so I'm going to take them off. So I hope everybody's well. Tonight we are going to be talking about, well, first of all, we're going to be opening with an article from The Blaze on the January 6th bomber. We're going to be reading an Economist article um, that is uh, rather worrisome in its seeming suggestions about who should be having babies. Um, we're going to be looking at a Andrew Jones article called "Capitalism Produces Socialism," because I think that's relevant and interesting. And then we'll be reading an article by Ed Fazer on immigration that I found interesting. Um, if you have anything else you would like covered or want to talk about, throw it in the chat. Let me know. Just say hi. Um, Michael, oh, hey man. You know, I would love to talk with you more about that if you want to send me a DM on Discord. But for obvious reasons, I don't talk about my day job on my show because I say a lot of really controversial things and I talk about some topics that we don't I don't want to make my bosses deal with. So I'm really glad that that helped you, and I'm really glad to hear that you were got something out of that. And I would like to talk to you more about that, but unfortunately, can't do it right now. So, um, we gotta fix this chat box, huh? Because it's supposed to have a background, and it just does not seem to be working. What do you guys think about that, huh? You see what I'm saying? It's like the does not have a background color, huh? Makes it kind of difficult to read. Uh, I really don't know where to fix it. I wish you guys could see these settings so you guys don't think I'm such like just an idiot, but these settings are not helpful. I'm gonna guess that's 100. That's not right. That's not right. Does not work, huh? Well, that sucks. Well, that doesn't work. So, don't know why it does that, but it does. So, anyway, if you're here, if you're in the chat, just go ahead and say hi. We're gonna get into. I don't want to start the big article of the night right away. I don't think so. I think I want to wait for some more people to get in. Um, so we'll just talk a little bit about. We'll talk a little about. Saw you test. Yeah, I know it's saying my test, but I want the background color. And like the background color for some reason isn't there. It's just like a completely transparent background, which makes this really difficult to read. Um, so yeah. Good evening. Thanks for shining a light on Lewis Mumford. I've been reading it slowly. Super dense material, but it's been absolute gold. It's really great. It's really, really great. If you like it, you would probably also enjoy Neil Postman's Technopoly if you haven't read it. Yeah, I figured you were referring to Technics. Yeah, yeah. So I didn't want to immediately like make this a big topic for tonight, but we will talk a little bit about, just while we're waiting for people to file in, or we're waiting to get to the actual topics we're going to talk about tonight. We'll just discuss what happened with the Lila Rose thing um, throughout the last week, because I missed Saturday. So obviously last Saturday I was not streaming. I went to Mother Natalia's, the Christ the Bridegroom monastery's annual banquet, where they raise the money for the things they need to fix around the monastery in general. Like, they're human beings. They have human being needs too. So I went to that last Saturday. So obviously I didn't stream. And then we didn't talk about it on Tuesday night a whole lot, just because I didn't feel like it was. I didn't want to like mix up the election stuff. So we'll just discuss it a little bit here, and then we're just gonna move on from it, because unfortunately I don't think there's much else to be done about it. So the episode. So I would like to clarify that while I've spoken to some people, and I don't think simony was technically the correct term. However, I do think the selling of these courses is itself sinful, which is what caused my confusion. Um, and also the fact that the courses are fake, they're obviously not doing anything, is a problem. And the fact that it's being promoted still in the description, it's back, but it's just above another Catholic link. So um, it's really odd. It's like promoting like Pop Tarts to people, or like Twinkies and Little Debbie's, and putting a link to their website, interviewing like the CEO of Little Debbie or whatever, and putting a link to their website in the description. And then underneath of that, putting a link to, you know, some organic breakfast farm place, and then being like, for a healthier breakfast option, and then acting like you're still not promoting the unhealthy food. Um, that's really, it's really what we're doing here, you know. And so I was unwilling to take this post about simony down for a while, until it could be explained to me why it was not simony. Um, and to be honest, I still don't understand it. But some people that I trust said it wasn't, so I trust them. I trust they're smarter than me. I can't understand why it isn't. To me, it seems like it is, but I'm not the end all be all on that, and I don't think I'm the smartest person in the world. Now, Lila's producer, Keely, and I obviously got into it. We had an extended discussion until she stopped replying to me. She stopped replying to me because she insisted I was operating in bad faith, even though I can point to multiple instances of her um, manipulating the truth in ways that I think are intentionally dishonest. And then also at least one instance where both me and Father Peter Tottleben corrected her on the translation she was using of a verse, which fundamentally and substantially changed what the verse meant. And then within a few hours, she re-quoted the verse with the bad translation, insisting on the bad interpretation. Um, and so she had the nerve to accuse me of bad faith, even though both of those things I can point to. Um, I can also point to her, you know, I can open her account right now and show you multiple instances of her retweeting Father Peter Tottleben out of context, when he does think, and has said so publicly, that they should take down that episode and that it's immoral for them to leave it up. But she is retweeting him out of context. So she had the nerve to accuse me of operating in bad faith, and said that it seemed to be because I was leaving the post on simony up, and was refusing to engage with me and answer my other questions. So I decided to take the posts mentioning the word simony down. I went through, it took me not an insignificant amount of time to make sure I had gotten them all down. And then I posted a statement saying I took them down and I had other issues. and that if Lila and her team could prove that they had vetted, for example, these miracle claims before broadcasting them to hundreds of thousands of people, then I would buy the courses myself. And they still haven't responded. So I took the things that she insisted made me operating in bad faith down. And then she stopped even engaging with Father Peter Tottleben, the priest who was engaging with her and trying to explain it to her. Now, I'm not going to outright hard accuse her of anything, because I think I'm not like in her brain. But I will say optically what it looks like is as soon as I took down the posts with the most traction, to make a demonstration of good faith and to say, hey, I'm operating in good faith. I would like an answer to my questions. If this is what your problems are, I will get rid of these things so that I can get an answer to my questions in good faith. And she stops engaging even with the priest she was engaging with. To me, optically, and I'm not saying that this is what's happening, but I am saying what this looks like. What this looks like is that she was never interested in the truth, and that she was only interested in getting the posts that had traction that made her look bad taken down, her boss look bad taken down. And like I said, I can't prove that, and I don't even want to accuse her of that outright, but I will say that that's what that looks like. I went out of my way to show her good faith when she had acted in bad faith. And instead of reciprocating, she decided to disappear and has since posted on her account multiple times tweets that amount to, she's posted on her account she's posted on her account since multiple times. One tweet she has posted, which amounts to, there were some men who weren't really involved in the interview, some like internet, like the trad trolls, who weren't really involved in the discussion at all, telling her that because she was a woman, basically quoting 1 Timothy 2:12 at her. And that was kind of her takeaway from the whole thing. And so I don't want to beat a dead horse. We're not going to win this. All right. EWTN has gotten dozens of phone calls. They're leaving it up. Keely does know that it's wrong, and there are other people on her team. Keely has been told by a priest, a theologian, a professor at a theology professor at seminary publicly that the interview is wrong, that there are serious moral errors in it, and that she is in serious moral error for leaving it up. There have been people on Lila's team which have said to me that they think that there are things in it which, even if they don't agree with my interpretation that they are wrong, are said in such a way and presented in such a way which they give scandal. They agree with me on that. It's still up. Lila has not, has not, and will not receive any type of consequence or change in behavior, and she will continue to endanger the faiths and the beliefs, and she will continue to be this spiritual danger to innocent believing Catholics until someone with some authority steps up and says, you can't do this anymore. And that's just how it is, right? And look, I'm not gonna. And either that or there has to be some serious pushback from more people than just the trads, right? Like, nobody who has ever associated with Lila for the sake of their own popularity or boosting their own public profile came out and said, hey, I think Josiah might have a point here. None of them. None of the people who were happy to associate with her when it was good for their brand, for their recognition, for their personal profile, was willing to step up and do the other side of the coin. Not a single one. Nobody. As far as I know, not a single one of them. And look, I'm at this point where I've let it go, and I'm not gonna beat a dead horse about all this constantly. the internet friends aren't your true friends. Well, that's not the point I'm making. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not going to beat a dead horse about this constantly. I'm not going to make this my thing. Um, but I will say that, and I've said this privately to a couple people, um, but I will say as my last statement on this, you know, um, and then I think we'll move on in the stream. I'll probably tweet this, and then we'll move on Twitter too. I won't be involved in any more of this. All I will say is that if the people who are in get called Catholic Inc. are not Catholic Inc., then they should probably step up and just openly say, like, all they have to do is say, this is bad. Don't follow this stuff. Lila was wrong. Because when they don't do that, when they're perfectly happy to associate with her every chance they get for their own public profile, but then won't back up me, just who went out of my way to try to do this privately first, and they all know it, won't back me up. It looks to me, and honestly, I didn't want to believe this, but I do think that the Catholic Inc. thing is true now. If there's no consequence for this, if there's no pushback from anybody who gets called Catholic Inc., they were perfectly happy for her to help them grow their personal profiles, to help them get more followers, but they won't step up and say this. So if they don't want the Catholic thing to look true or to be true, then they need to step up and say, hey, what we say about content creation, we believe it's for the salvation of souls. Like we want to save souls through our content creation. And as a result, since I've publicly associated with this person in the past or publicly presented this person as a Catholic that you can trust in the past, I need to say you can't trust this person on this issue, and that they're maybe look into if it's a repeated thing happening. So that's all there is to say on this. I'm done with the Lila thing. I'm done with it. We're not going to win. We're not going to get the episode taken down because nobody's willing to put any actual consequences or pressure on her except for people who have no pull because they're just trads, which I'm not saying is correct, but it is the case. Let's just be realistic about it. So that's where we're at. Are there any questions? These are some that's a okay, Jacob. I'm not doing anything with that one. We're leaving that one. I'm not. I'm ignoring that question intentionally. Okay. Well, let's move on. We're going to talk about the Blaze article on oh shoot. Dude, that's so dumb. Why does that keep happening? You know when you close all your tabs in some browsers instead of just taking you to like the landing page, it closes the browser completely? That's really dumb. Sorry, are you sick because of the sneeze? I'm just like a low level of sick pretty much all the time. From like October until probably May. You know, not the Blaze, not the Blaze the horse. No, we're going to talk about this Blaze Media article. What video game is this? This is not a video game, unfortunately. This is me doing commentary, which I have been instructed to do by my mentors and friends. We're doing it. I just do what I'm told. So, here we go. First topic of the night. Wait, I have to push record. Okay, here we go. Welcome back to Saturday Night Sanity Revolt. Today we're going to be reading an article from Blaze Media on the identity of the January 6th pipe bomber. So we're going to be looking into that. And we'll be discussing and reading through this. I haven't read this yet. Fuck, I gotta restart this because that guy. I gotta reload the chat box too, guys. I'm sorry. I banned him. I gotta reload the chat box. Well, it's also like it's clearly like even if you think it's funny, it's clearly just gonna like get me in trouble with YouTube. You know, like all that's gonna do is get me in trouble with YouTube and Twitch and get me banned. Like that's clearly just designed to screw me over. Um, it's it's really not. It's really not. Like all you're doing is sabotaging me. Like if you think I'm gonna laugh at it, like all you're doing is like making my life harder. I mean, the joke is just that like it's a word you shouldn't say. Like that's what the joke is, right? But like the reality of what that is just like nearly getting me banned on all of the platforms that I am streaming on and ruining everybody else's fun. Okay. Dang it. Well, let's do it again. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Saturday Night Sanity Revolt. Today, we're going to be reading an article on Blaze Media's website. They have some sources on the identity of the January 6th pipe bomber. through some forensic analysis. So we'll be reading through this. I haven't read it yet, but I think it'll be really interesting. Hopefully, um, it'll be really interesting. Otherwise, this will be a lame video, but I think it's really good. It looks like it was an inside job, so. Okay. A forensic analysis of a female former U.S. Capitol Police officer's gait is a 94 to 98% match to the unique stride of the long sought January 6 pipe bomber suspect, according to Blaze News investigation confirmed by several intelligence sources. A source close to the congressional investigation of January 6 additionally told Blaze News evidence has emerged recently that pointed towards law enforcement possibly being involved in the planting of the pipe bombs. Well, who would have thunk it? We told you so. Like, no, that's not what I want. Don't do that. We told you so. We told you so. The software algorithm that analyzes walking parameters includes flexion, hip extension, speed, length, cadence, and variance rated Shania Ray Kirchhoff, 31, of Alexandria, VA, as a 94% match to the bomb suspect shown on video from January 5th, 2021. The veteran analyst who ran the analysis for Blaze News said that based on visual observation the program can struggle with, he personally pegged the match closer to 98%. Kirchhoff, who was a Capitol police officer for 4.5 years, left the department in mid-2021 for a security detail in the Central Intelligence Agency, sources told them. So she immediately got moved afterwards to the CIA. Wow. Who's surprised? CIA spokeswoman Liz Lyons stated that the subject worked in campus security. Kirchhoff's residence in Alexandria, VA appeared to be under the watch of law enforcement officers on Friday night. Blaze News editor-in-chief Christopher Bedford was pulled over by local police after stopping by to observe the home. He was then allowed to leave. Dude, she did this. She did it. She did it. The least CIA did it, terrorist attack. Yeah, literally. Like the CIA did it. Oh my gosh. This is why the thumbnail is "We told you so," because it's like so obvious. The FBI, which failed to solve the case in nearly 5 years of investigation, but indicated that it was closing in after Blaze News brought its investigation to intelligence sources. I screwed that sentence up, I think. Oh my gosh. I got it. Did I get it in time that time? I got it. The FBI, which failed to solve the case in nearly 5 years of investigation, but indicated that it was closing in after Blaze News brought its investigation to intelligence sources, was feet from the Falls Church address of the gosh. The FBI, which failed to solve the case in its nearly 5 years of investigation, but indicated that it was closing in after Blaze News brought its investigation to intelligence sources, was feet from the Falls Church address of the pipe bomb suspect days after January 6, according to Blaze News investigation. Former FBI Special Agent Kyle Seraphin realized Friday that he was doing surveillance next door to the woman now suspected to be the January 6 pipe bomber. The FBI put us one door away from the pipe bomber. Within days of January 6, we were deliberately pulled away for no logical or logically investigative reason, Seraphin told Blaze News. And everything about that tells me that they were involved in a cover-up and have been since day one. So they used her playing soccer, and then they used her. They used the video of the bomber, so that's how they matched it up. They used these two videos. It looks like, which is really cool. They're fucking on it, Seraphin said. Seraphin proposed doing a knock and talk at the door of an Air Force civilian employee whose address was tied to a vehicle that picked up the bomb suspect in Falls Church, VA on January 5th, 2021. Seraphin's team spent 2 days watching the man, but Seraphin's request to go face to face with the person of interest was denied. The team was pulled off the case the same night. Oh my. Seraphin said he'd given the same details publicly since 2021. They were on our radar every time, dude. Every time. There's a personal reaction to it, which is the complete vindication that the things I've been saying and had my recollection being briefed on this stuff has been accurate for years, and I've never changed my tune, he said. The FBI tied a DC Metro Trail Smart Trip car allegedly used by the pipe bomb suspect to an Air Force civilian employee, but determined that while the man purchased the card, he did not use it. The suspect allegedly used the card to travel from D.C. to stop in Falls Church after planting the pipe bombs. The Air Force civilian employee had purchased the Smart Trip card a year earlier. A year? Dude. That is like crazy prep stuff if I've ever heard it. The forensic study arranged by Blaze News revealed that Kirchhoff is up to a 98% match to the gait of the pipe bomb suspect. The findings were confirmed by several current intelligence sources who viewed the study results. The source who did the comparison said that the software rated the match at 94%. He put the figure closer to 96, 98, including a combination of human intelligence and software analysis. Samples of Kirchhoff's gait were taken from January 6th Capitol Police CCTV security video compared to unedited video of a hoodie-wearing suspect walking through an alley near C Street to place an alleged pipe bomb behind the Capitol Hill Club around 8:16 p.m. on January 5th. Two other sources familiar with gait analysis who viewed the video comparison and software analysis told Blaze News they concurred that the video samples matched the gait of the gray hoodie wearing suspect. Do we have the video? Can we see the videos? I guess we can't. That's a pretty good angle, though. The mystery of the pipe bombs has hung over January 6th for nearly 5 years. The FBI said an unknown suspect placed bombs in a park bench at the D.C. and Capitol Hill Club near the Republican National Committee between 7:54 and 8:16 the night before the riot. Discovery of the devices between 12:40 and 1:05 p.m. respectively on January 6 drew already depleted police resources away from the Capitol just as a huge crowd breached the ground at 12:53 p.m. A joint session of Congress convened at 1 p.m. to take up challenges to the certification of the Electoral College vote from the 2020 presidential election. Kirchhoff was a Capitol Police officer from 2018 until mid-2021. She was a member of the department's Civil Disturbance Unit and a training officer on the use of less lethal crowd control weapons that were extensively used on the January 6th crowd. Using lethal force. Blaze News reported Wednesday on Capitol Police surveillance video showing Kirchhoff and other CDU officers repeatedly using lethal force on the January 6th crowd using less lethal weapons. At least 16 members of the crowd on the Capitol West Plaza were shot above the waistline with kinetic impact projectiles fired from above the lower west terrace. So she planted the bombs and then the next day just went and shot people. What a great gal. What a great gal. She's not been booked. I don't think so. Blaze News approached numerous intelligence office officials 2 weeks ago with questions about findings from its investigation, which suggested that Kirchhoff matched the description and behavior of the suspected bomber based on her distinctive walk, slight limp, 5'7" frame, and other factors. This article is so long. I don't think she's been arrested. What's her name again? Shania? I don't even know how you would pronounce that. Shania Ray Kirchhoff. It looks like the results are changing quickly. Interesting. The results are changing quickly. No way. If I Googled that name and Blaze is the one who broke the news, and they say the results are changing quickly, and then the Blaze article is like the 5th result, is crazy. What else do we have, huh? Do we have anything over here? Wild. Nothing yet. What do you think X is? Do you think there's anything good on X about it? Yo, she looks like she did it. Book her. She got dude. That's it, boys. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. Wrap it up, boys. She did it. She did it. Dude, my phone is going crazy. Footage of the pipe bomb suspect walking with a backpack on the night of January 5th was compared to January 6th security video of Oxford Kirchhoff in various places on the Capitol grounds and footage of her playing professional soccer in Columbus, Ohio in 2017. She's a professional women's soccer player. I mean, we should have arrested her for that, probably. The pipe bomb video that the Blaze used in its analysis was not the footage released by the FBI. A video sleuth who embarked on a more than year-long investigation told the Blaze News the footage made public by the FBI was manipulated to downsample the frame rate. Wow. Why would you That's so dumb. Probably specifically so they couldn't do gate analysis. Although it shows the same scene as the FBI video, the clip used by the Blaze News came from another source and is demonstrably clear with much smoother motion. Former Capitol Police Chief Steven Sund told Blaze News he is eager to learn the results of the pipe bomb investigation, but he said he has no awareness of any Capitol Police officer involvement in the pipe bomb planting. And in Columbus, bro, what are we doing? Columbus? Go IU, by the way. Go IU. I had no knowledge that it was being carried out, nor were they carrying it out with any authorization from the chief's office, and said, I'm unaware of a legitimate reason that any Capitol police officer or other law enforcement officer would be involved in the planting of those bombs. That's the point. There wouldn't be a reason unless they were trying to incite the riot. Wow. What do you mean? You don't know why would anybody do that? Why would anybody do that? What's gait analysis? It's how you walk. Gait. Yeah. Like Adam K said, like how your legs move, how far like you move your knees, where your heel hits the ground, what part of your foot hits first, like how far your hip comes up, like that kind of stuff, how wide apart your legs are, all that stuff. Yeah, the planting isn't the incitement. It's an excuse to be meaner is what it is. It's an excuse to be meaner. That's what to like be harsher on to be harsher on the protesters. Several officials familiar with the government's investigative efforts and said a New York said a new work is urgently said a new work is urgently needed to determine whether there were co-conspirators who aided and abetted these crimes and to learn if federal agencies or employees knew who was involved in the bomb hoax. Oh, and participated in the nearly 5-year cover-up. Yeah. But here's the problem. The Congress is too much of a Congress is too much of like too chicken to do anything about it. You know? Like they're not going to do anything about this. Pam Bondi's terrible. Like Trump should fire Pam Bondi, obviously. Um, but yeah, she's terrible. So we could fix this right now if Pam Bondi would do her job. Like it would be over, you know? Replaced with Pete Bondo? No, what we need to replace her with is Matt Gaetz. The government is shut down. Just pop him in there. Just pop him in there. They're not going to notice. Just do the old switcheroo. Put Matt Gaetz in a blonde wig. Do the switcheroo. And then, bam, problem solved. Problem solved. Yeah, we just put Matt Gaetz in there. Matt Gaetz was the guy that we wanted originally. Bondi was the second choice. Matt Gaetz would have probably gotten this stuff done. Not having great vision, I picked up the habit of being able to identify people by their stride, and it's like a fingerprint. Everyone's stride is super new, unique. Yeah, that is true. I wonder, Chrysostom, is there a similarity? Like, is a running stride, when you're watching somebody run and you're watching somebody walk, do you think that the running stride is just like a wider, extended version of their walking stride? Yeah, put me in. Bro, make me the Attorney General of the United States of America. I will fix everything. Mr. President, I will answer the call. I will answer the call to be Attorney General of the United States, Mr. President. I will arrest all of the Democrats. Do you want me to make Mamdani go away? I will put him in prison for 20 years and then deport him. We can do that in whatever order you want, sir. Mr. J.D. Vance, Mr. Vice President, I will be your Attorney General. You can trust me. I will arrest all of the neocons, too. Yeah. That one's not a joke. I'll do that one, too, if you want. You can trust me. Make me Attorney General. Are we recording still? Well, yeah, it doesn't matter. A woken Catholic's going to cut that. That was clip farming for him. I figured if he was going to do clip farming, I might as well give him some funny stuff. If he's going to try to make me look bad, I'm just going to, like, say the funniest shit I can. Like, what's he going to do? Put it up on his little YouTube channel for people to bitch, like, to bitch about it? Like, 90% of his, I'm pretty sure over half of his views when all the videos about me are just my friends going, that's hilarious. Clip Farmer Brown, so true. Yeah. Awoken, when you see this later, I want you to know over half of your views on the videos about me are just people who like me thinking it's funny. The FBI faced questions over its failure to make meaningful investigative progress despite offering a $490,000 reward with the ATF, along with a $10,000 reward from the Metro Police Department. See, I feel like y'all should have had to split that 500 grand a little more evenly. But okay. Former FBI Director Chris Wray claimed the Bureau conducted an exhaustive investigation. Didn't Chris Wray also claim the Hunter Biden laptop was fake? Christopher, I should do it up in this window. Sorry, I keep going to my secondary window to Google stuff. Wray Hunter Biden laptop. I wonder if I just Google Christopher Wray and then click news, what the things about him are. Oh, he signed off on the investigation. There we go. Yeah, I don't trust him. How's that? I don't trust him. In congressional testimony, Wray said January 6th was an indictment of right-wing domestic violent extremists. He said white supremacy-fueled domestic violent extremism is one of the major threats to the nation. See, it's not. But it's not, though. But it's not, though. And, oh, here's a good one. Did you guys see this video? Michael Knowles was in Congress recently. Here we go. Yeah, this video. Here we go.
Exactly which side
this one.
the violence comes from. This seems to me confusing and misbegotten, as one cannot solve a problem if one does not know where the problem lies. In light of the murder of my friend Charlie Kirk by a leftist assassin, I am gratified to see that at least some members of our federal legislature are now confronting the consistent and escalating pattern of left-wing terrorism in the country. Lest I be accused of partisan invective, on September 23rd, no less an emblem of American liberalism than The Atlantic magazine published an article citing a recent study from the Center for Strategic and International Studies, admitting that the left is more violent today than the right. Less honest liberals, including members of Congress, continue to deny this fact. Democrat Congressman Seth Moulton, for example, reacted to Charlie's assassination by blaming the right. Congressman Moulton claimed that 3/4 of political violence in the United States comes from the right, while only 4% comes from the left. That claim struck me, as it probably does many of you, as suspect. So I looked into just a few recent examples that came to mind of prominent left-on-right violence. The Covenant School Massacre in Nashville, in which a trans-identifying shooter murdered Christian school children after outlining her ideological motivations. According to authorities, there was no ideological motive there. Go figure. The Black Lives Matter riots, overtly leftist demonstrations that left dozens of people dead and over $1 billion worth of property damage. Likewise, those failed to show up on registers of left-wing political violence. Even an attack by Antifa that targeted me personally, as well as conservative college students for our political views, appeared in official records and data sets as nothing more than obstructing law enforcement. It turns out the left commits relatively little political violence when you don't count the political violence that the left commits. I am here today to speak about that single illustrative incident. On April 18th, 2020.
There you go. So, that's what I'm talking about, dude. The whole, like, the left doesn't commit violence is because they refuse to count the violence the left commits. Like, it's intentional. It's an intentional thing that they're doing, specifically to make right-wingers look worse. So, this prospect of a Capitol Police officer being the perpetrator, if confirmed, could recast the entire story of January 6th. It could start to unravel the carefully crafted, zealously defended Democrat narrative that massive crowds of Trump supporters stormed the Capitol as a part of an insurrection to keep Trump in office and to deny Joseph R. Biden Jr. the presidency. Why do we do that? Why do we write it all out like that? Who cares? At the same time, the FBI was not solving the pipe bombing mystery. It was carrying on the largest investigation in its history to hunt down the thousands of Americans who went to the Capitol after Trump's January 6th speech at the Ellipse. The FBI, under Wray, worked in concert with the Biden Department of Justice to put hundreds of Trump supporters in prison. The Secret Service response to the discovery of the bomb under a park bench at the Democrat National Committee drew fire from congressional investigators and the Department of Homeland Security Inspector General Inspectigator. That's a new word. Hey, what's up, HG Moss? Speculation that the Secret Service knew the DNC pipe bomb was a dud began when U.S. Rep. Thomas Massie released Capitol Police security footage showing agents acting nonchalantly after Capitol Police counter-surveillance informed them that they found a pipe bomb in the bushes behind the DNC building. Agents stayed in their SUV eating lunch for 2 minutes before getting out to investigate. They stood feet from the suspected bomb and allowed pedestrians to walk past. I have not seen this video. This is crazy. I didn't know this happened. I haven't seen this video. That's hilarious. Commuter trains that passed directly next to the DNC building continued to run. 2 weeks ago, the Blaze News reported on a year-long investigation of a video sleuth who found evidence, he said, showed the FBI was misleading the American public about the pipe bombs. A user known as Army Toss on social media said the video released by the FBI had been manipulated to reduce the frame rate. He also provided evidence that the pipe bomber first tried to plant the devices outside the Congressional Black Caucus Institute and a congressional rooming house on C Street in the evening of January 5th. Is this the DNC building? That's ugly. Armitage says he believes the devices planted next to a bench in some bushes. 754 was retrieved at 4:40 a.m. and replaced shortly before or nearly simultaneously to discovering the bomb at 1:05 p.m. The device appears to have been broken by the bomb suspect outside the Congressional Black Caucus Institute on January 5th. Much public discussion in the case dealt with the rare Nike Air Max Speed Turf sneakers the suspect wore. What? They're wearing... Wait, no. That's awesome. That's so funny. How much are these? How much do you guys think these are? All right, no Googling, no cheating. Oh, I just showed you the results, didn't I? Never mind. How much are these? Make an offer. Retail price $140. But like how much are they actually? I know how shoes work. I know it's always crazy expensive. Yeah, there we go. 543, 639, 375. Holy cow. It's worth it. Trust. You got some Nike Air Max Speed Turfs. Is your name Shani? Is your name Shinny Ray Kirchhoff? And whether the person was familiar with the areas around DC, the DNC Capitol building and the DNC building and Capitol Hill Club. Army Sauce said he believes the suspect knew to take a mini shortcut at the corner of 1st and C Streets and escaped through a well-hidden church garden gate after planting the second device behind Capitol Hill Club. Shani Ray Kirchhoff? That's the name of the bomber. Shani Ray Kirchhoff, dude. Well, there we go. It's the bomber right there. Former professional female soccer player. Former Capitol Police officer, current CIA. Gait analysis software can get accurate results even if the suspect is walking at a faster than normal speed. It can also recognize gait on a video shot from a long distance. It does not require the kind of video resolution needed for facial recognition, the analyst said. The bombing suspect's head was covered by a hoodie and a COVID-19 face mask. The jerky motion seen on the video released by the FBI would normally make gait analysis much more difficult, the analyst said. The FBI's lack of progress in solving the pipe bombs case drew increasing criticism from Republican members of Congress in July 2023. In a July 2023 hearing, Massey grilled Ray about the video Massey unearthed showing the man who apparently discovered the bomb at the DNC building. Blaze News later learned that the person was a plainclothes Capitol Police counter-surveillance officer. Good grief. Have you interviewed that person? Massey asked. We have conducted all logical investigative steps and interviewed all logical individuals at this point. Ray repeatedly stated that he would not discuss the details of an active investigation, which prompted a rebuke from Massey. I'm not going to just read Massey, dude. I'm not going to give the guy... I'm not going to give Massey any... I don't like him. He's a traitor. Kirchhoff was born November 1993 in Hamilton, Ohio. Who else? Hamilton, Ohio. Why do I recognize the name Hamilton, Ohio? I'm having deja vu about Hamilton, Ohio. I'm having weird deja vu about, like, I have in my head somebody saying I was born in Hamilton, Ohio. The youngest of three daughters of Brant James Kirchhoff and the former Patricia Marie Hennon. Patricia Kirchhoff died in August of 2024 after a long battle with pancreatic cancer. Among her skills, Shani Kirchhoff has said she can solve a Rubik's Cube in less than a minute. I can do that. That's not impressive. She completed the 2018 Boston Marathon in 3 hours and 34 minutes and 9 seconds. Who cares? She probably bombed that one too, huh? Too soon? Too soon? Was that too soon? Oh, the Boston Marathon is tomorrow. Oh, the half marathon's tomorrow. When was that? 2013. That's when that was. Kirchhoff attended Olentangy Orange High School in Lewis Center, Ohio, about 20 miles north of the capital city of Columbus. She was a soccer standout and a top academic achiever who earned National Honor Society membership. She was the star varsity goalie all 4 years. She earned second team all-state honors in 20. Yeah, I don't care. Played D1 for the Owls. Well, there we go. I think we should be concerned with foreign sleeper cells as current events are looking a bit desperate. DHS themselves have admitted to lots of sleepers getting under Biden Harris. Yeah, probably, but that's not on topic here. So, well, that's an interesting article. I'm glad they caught the person. So, there we go. Why I don't get what this adds. Why does it matter? I don't know. I think it's just funny, honestly. I don't know why they did it. Oh, I have to follow Drew back on Twitter. I unfollowed Drew because he needed one more follower, so I unfollowed him. He needed one more follower to get to 1,000, so I unfollowed him so that he wouldn't have it. Yeah, I really think leftists are more dangerous than foreign sleeper cells currently. They have not arrested her. It would be all over the news if they had arrested her. I trust Muslims a bit more than a number of left center people with lots of money. I mean, Antifa is the really big one. Like, the Muslims are not going to get away with stuff if they do it, and so they do that kind of stuff because they know they can't be punished for it. Yeah. The leftists are less likely. Um, they're just not going to get punished for it, right? Like, I bet you guys didn't know that there was a like violent confrontation between Antifa and ICE like 2 or 3 weeks ago. It didn't even make the news. It wasn't even on Twitter because it happens so often. Like, they just get away with stuff. They're far more dangerous because they're so emboldened. Um, should I get Paps or Coors? Paps, dude. You guys want to see my awesome winter hat? I have a very cool winter hat. Hello, Shirley. Thank you for saying sick hat. Isn't there like a really famous cartoon character that wears a hat like this? Who am I thinking of? Who am I thinking of? I don't remember. But it's a sick hat. I love it. It's lined inside too, not just the ears. It's lined inside too. It goes so hard. Elmer Fudd, dude. What's up, Supa? Supa's here. It's so funny. What's up? What's up, Supa? Uh, dude, this everything. I'm eating an untoasted everything bagel with nothing on it. You guys want to see the best catch you're ever going to see in your life? Too bad. You're going to watch it. You all are going to see the greatest catch of all time. Watch this. This is insane. This is the craziest thing you're going to see. Watch. This happened today. I should mute this. Whoop. He caught that ball. He came down with this ball. Look at this. Okay. So his right foot would be out of bounds. So he's going to tilt, like turn his ankle up so his right foot doesn't hit the ground. And then watch him drag his left foot while being thrown out of bounds. Insane. This is the craziest thing ever. It's just crazy. It's like, how is he keeping his right foot up just long enough for his left foot to hit? So cool. Yeah, survived a hostile crowd in Unhappy Valley. Dude, though, that stadium was insane. Luckily, we're going to have home playoff games, and the championship game is home, so yeah. Everyone turned into dancing zombies. I don't know what that refers to. I don't know what everyone turned into dancing zombies refers to. Um, it's Saturday, so I don't have any good politics on my timeline. This tweet is hilarious. I did see this. 1980 California has built 22 since 1980 California's built 22 prisons and one university. these people think real life is like StarCraft, and if you build more universities, you get more scholars, but if you build more prisons, you get more felons. That's so funny. That's a great post. Um, yeah, okay, we can talk about the 50-year mortgage thing. The 50-year mortgage thing is just like, it's terrible. Because what you should do here is you should just make it so that, like, these mega corporations like BlackRock and stuff can't own houses as assets. Like these investing in these like BlackRock and all these like money companies, these companies whose whole job is just to make money and they don't actually like provide anything besides financial services. Like, you know, they don't do any real work. They're not actually providing anything of value to the country besides like making money, make money. So they're just engaging in mass, like all they're doing is engaging in mass usury. Um, uh, like you just those companies just legally shouldn't be able to own homes. You know, like let's just make it to where you can't legally they're not allowed to own a home. Why should that be allowed? You know, um, what what benefit to the common good and to actual citizens does this like faceless mega corporation that only exists to make money out of nothing owning a home and jacking the price up? Like what who does that benefit? That doesn't benefit anyone. The only people that does benefit are the rich people who are, you know, with BlackRock and using that like the, you know, they shouldn't exist at all. No, you shouldn't be allowed to exist as a company that only just exists to engage in usury and create money out of nothing. Like that's true. Yes, you should not be like none of those companies should be allowed to exist. Um, but like if we're gonna have them, at the very least, we should also not let them engage in markets and commodities which everyday people need. You know, like it's just ridiculous to say that small young family, hey New Crusade, it's just ridiculous to say that a small young family should have to compete with these people or buy from these people. That just shouldn't be allowed. We should just say no. You know, we should just say no. We should just tell them they can't own this stuff anymore and take it from them. The other thing you could do is just deport 40 million people who shouldn't be here, who have no right to be here, because that's also a major problem. Um, you know, like if you just did those two things, you wouldn't need 50-year mortgages. Also, a 50-year mortgage isn't the major, like 30 years isn't the problem with the mortgage, honestly. It's like, I don't know a single person who's not buying a house because 30 years is too short a time, like they can't keep up with the payments. I know people who can't buy a house because like the 20% down or whatever it is insane. And so the housing cost doesn't change, right? Like that doesn't change the average down payment. What is a 50-year mortgage down payment? It's still going to be insane. Like the down payment is the problem, and so the cost of the house itself is the problem, not the time span, you know? The only people helped by the 50-year mortgage is like is the banks and stuff so that they can have you in lifetime debt slavery. It's a terrible idea. Like it's just terrible. What is the down payment on this mortgage going to be? Like what percentage is the down payment going to be? What percent is this down payment going to be? Okay, so let's go 1990 U.S. median house cost. A median house in the United States in 1990 was $79,000. So some data series listed in a 120. Median price, Federal Reserve data, HUD data. Okay, so let's say it's 123. Okay, let's say it's 122, 123. All right. Median U.S. house price 2025. Yeah, look at this. The low end of this chart is $200,000. That's the low end. 241,000 in Ohio, 249,000 in West Virginia. Like Mississippi, like the poorest state, like this is just inexcusable. Like this is the problem, right? Like the problem here is this stuff. It's not, it has nothing to do with how long the mortgage takes. It's like that the housing cost itself is going up. And house prices chart 2010 2000 to present. I severely doubt there's 5 times the demand for housing. That's kind of the problem, right? But there also is the demand is artificially inflated. The demand is artificially inflated because of immigration, right? Okay, yeah, so here we go. January of 2020, median house sale price for the United States, $328,000, okay? April of 2020, 309,000, so we take a dip. But then look at this, right? 2021, so what, from the beginning of COVID, we're at 331 to 1 year into COVID, we're at 354. So there's a huge increase there. And then like January 2022, 413. So there's a 33% increase almost. And then we peak at 460. Yeah, this is just, inexcusable. Like all of this, like look at this. What is this? A quarter of the growth of the market, the housing costs in this chart since 1963. Like it's grown since January of 2020. Since January of 2020, the cost of a house has increased the same amount it did. Let's see, what is this? 17,000. 17,000. So when's 117,000? So we're sitting around 117,000 for this whole time, right? Like it gets down, so it's probably there's the last time we could call it. Okay, there's the last time it's below. So there's 30 years from the 1960s to the 1990s where it took the housing market to grow $100,000, and then it took 4 years. Like 50-year mortgages aren't going to fix this. We're not going to get back to the American dream of like, oh, I can afford a home because we have 50-year mortgages. Like the American dream worked because you could own a home for $50,000, right? Like fundamentally the problem here is that these like it's 50-year mortgages are going to make it worse, honestly, because there's going to be people who can't afford to buy a home being able to do it now, like mechanically, you know? Um, like it's just a terrible idea. Yeah, that's another one. Housing, house prices relative to income chart. Yeah, so here is this chart. So this is the cost of a house relative to the median income, right? And so what if we go back, right? Like we're up to like the 50s and the 60s we're, yeah, so the 40s were at like this big cost, but then post World War II it slowly comes down, right? And so this is like the economy everybody says we're trying to get back to. So it's like at 3, right? Like what are we're at like almost, yeah, we peaked at 7 during COVID. It's coming down slowly. The problem here is that you have to fix the housing cost, you do have to take money from the boomers, one way or the other. I'm not saying you steal it from them outright, but housing to fix the economy, the problem with the economy currently, which is that people can't, like young people can't afford to get into the economy and buy houses. The housing market needs to crash. So every time you have a politician in office, they're in this catch-22 where they can't just like intentionally crash the housing market because then all of the people who are homeowners are not going to vote for them anymore. But like that is what needs to happen. The housing market is out of control. It needs to be crashed to return to a state that is acceptable. And that's what needs to be done to fix this. But you can't just intentionally crash the housing market, and you can't even get up and say, I don't want to intentionally crash the housing market, but the problem here is that boomers are greedy. Like you can't say that either, you know. You see the problem, guys? But what will the poor elderly do without their second and third houses? Yeah, like are they what's going on here? Oh, I don't care about that. Um yeah. Like you have to crash the housing market. That's how you would fix the cost of living in this country is crashing the housing market intentionally, but no politician can do that. So What else?
Money that you didn't have to think
Wow, that's loud.
about money. Like,
That's loud. What's this?
but what if you had enough money that you didn't have to think about money? Like, if you think about that $37 trillion of this fucking country's in debt for, and how much wealth could potentially be generated by it, we're talking about so much money floating around. If you just gave everybody in the country a real high income, livable life, so there's no more poverty anymore, how much crime would that solve? Like, instantaneously.
None. It would solve none.
How much crime would be solved or future crime solved if everybody lived at a high income level? It
None.
sounds completely insane. But imagine if everybody in the country makes at least $500,000 a year. You
None.
know how different the world is? Do you know how less violence?
Gosh. Why don't we just do massive inflation on purpose? What an idiot. Hey, I said that just now. That's smart. All right. What do you guys want to do next? Do you want to do Ed Phage on immigration or the Economist article on white people shouldn't have babies? Slap Joe Rogan with a fish. See, I don't know if that's a great idea. I think he would murder you. I think you would die if you tried that. I think you would die if you tried that. I just had a heart attack. We're good. We're good. I just had a gigantic heart attack. People of certain demographics and families make like 500 euros a year and commit as much crime as people in other certain demographics, families making about 80K a year. It's never about money. I was about to pull that stat, actually. I was about to pull that. That might have to be a grok question. I'm asking grok. I'm waiting for it to work. Um, Yes, Grok has confirmed that what Master Eon said is correct. Um. Yep. Okay. Pokemon Brock? I don't know what that is. Don't know what that is. Don't know what that is. Starting didn't have PBR. It's Jover. It is Jover. What'd you get instead? Did you bring me a Twee? I have Twees in my fridge, I think. Oh, should I go get a Twee? Feels like Twee time. I said Brock? When did I say Brock? I said Grok. I said Grok, guys. Okay. Well, let's read this uh, Economist article. Make America Procreate Again Among the MAGA Fertility Fanatics. Ordinarily, Tim Adkinson, a trucker, sleeps in the back of his vehicle, but on a warm night at the end of March, he checked into a hotel in Austin, Texas. He had dressed up smartly, white linen shirt and chinos, hair brushed forward in an attempt to mask his receding hairline. On his wrist, he wore a yellow paper wristband. This accessory was meant to signal to the most people he'd meet that evening that he was single, open to dating, and most importantly, looking to procreate a lot. What? All right. Let's this is a hook. That is a hook. I will say this. I will say this. I will say this for that individual. That's a pretty good hook. That's a pretty good hook. I will say this for the person who wrote this, that's a good hook. I'm 32 years old and I haven't had any kids, Atkinson told me. We were sitting next to each other eating dinner of roast chicken and broccoli in the auditorium of the Bullock, Texas State History Museum. It was the opening ceremony of NatalCon, a 2-day conference that tasked itself with gathering the brightest minds in the world in search of new solutions to the global fall in birth rates. The 200-strong crowd was full of self-proclaimed pronatalists, those who believed that people, at least people like themselves, should be having more children, and that if they don't, society, at least as they know it, will collapse. True. Fact check, true. All of that has been fact checked by real American patriots. All of that is true. Atkinson, whose solitary life on the open road gives him a lot of time to think, was concerned that he was contributing to the problem. You know, the alarm bells were going off. Like, why hasn't this happened for me? There was a flash of vulnerability in his face. It's not just trucking, he said. It's not me specifically. It's everywhere. Yo, are they trying to... They trying to make my boy look bad? Who is this guy? We like this guy. They trying to come at Tim, dude? Trying to come at Tim? He had seen influencers speaking about NatalCon online and decided to pay the $1,000 fee to attend. Matchmaking wasn't the point of the conference, rather it was billed as a serious academic affair that would feature pro-natalist thinkers. NatalCon, not NatalCon, Timbits. NatalCon. Tech entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, and people with the ear of the Trump administration. Okay. Still, Atkinson wanted to try his luck among the like-minded crowd. He filled out a Google form that was sent to single attendees before the opening ceremony, on which he listed his age, spiritual background, and the number of children he wanted, from 1 to 7 or more. Now that he was there, though he didn't like his odds, it's like 8 to 1, men to women, I swear, he said, giving a cursory glance around the room. I'll give it a shot, but I'm not holding my breath. You got this, Tim. We're rooting for Tim. Go, Tim. You got this, Tim. Atkinson had voted for Donald Trump and described his own politics as hard right. In that sense, he might have found his people. The conference dining room was a jumble of libertarian tech workers and religious conservatives, representatives of the so-called Tech Trad Alliance that had helped propel Trump to a second term in the White House. For these political bedfellows, falling birth rates are an existential crisis with potentially devastating consequences for the American economy, national security, and the MAGA project. Tech billionaires like Mark Andreessen, Palmer Luckey, Peter Thiel, and most famously Elon Musk have all publicly fretted about the issue and funneled money into companies and research initiatives that are developing reproductive technologies. Meanwhile, religious conservatives like those at the Heritage Foundation and a right-wing think tank has been pushing for policies that might, in theory, help expand the population, such as banning abortion and reducing subsidies for contraceptives. That's not why people are pushing those things. Those things are being pushed because they're bad. Tell me you don't get it without telling me you don't get it. Like, oh, they're doing it because they want more babies. No, we're doing it because it's murder. The Vice President, J.D. Vance, is at the nexus of the Tech Trad Alliance as a vocal convert to Roman Catholicism whose political career was supercharged by Peter Thiel, his former boss. Vance has been thrilled to help make pronatalism an explicitly MAGA issue. He's been criticized by prominent Democrats who don't have biological children. He has criticized prominent Democrats who don't have biological children for being childless cat ladies. True. Taylor Swift then pointedly used the phrase in her endorsement of Kamala Harris last year. And then he made a point of saying in his first public address as vice president that I want more babies in the United States of America. Trump, in turn, has declared himself the fertilization president. That's... Every time I hear another thing Trump has said, I'm just like, yeah, he probably said that. But it's so funny. It's so funny. He says the funniest stuff. I'm the fertilization president. That's really funny. It recently unveiled a plan to offer discounted fertility drugs through Trump RX. The administration's direct-to-consumer website due to launch next year. There was a sense among many at NatalCon that with Trump and Vance in power, the moment to jumpstart American baby making had come at last. But those gathered outside the museum on the opening night of the conference had a different impression that pronatalism was a part of a broader and more insidious project to create a whiter America. A group of protesters, their faces mostly covered, gathered in the museum's courtyard. Nazis off our campus, they screamed through megaphones at the conference. One side read, eugenicists with the word natalists crossed out. All I'm saying is only one side's killing babies, and I think that's more eugenics, you know? I mean, the left is... There's also different types of eugenics. And I've said that, so now I have to explain what I mean. There is positive eugenics and negative eugenics. So positive eugenics is just encouraging, I think. Hold on. I better get this right. Yeah, okay. So negative eugenics is eliminating traits from the gene pool that you don't want, whereas positive eugenics is encouraging people who are have good genes to be together. Now, here's the thing. You are probably a positive eugenist. If you've ever had a friend dating somebody and you've thought my friend can do better, or I don't want like I don't think that my friend wants that person to be the parent of their child, and you've told them that, or you've like had a conversation, or if you've ever, dated somebody and then broke up with them because you were like, actually, I don't want my kids to, or if you date people who you find attractive, that's eugenics. That's positive eugenics. You are a positive eugenist, probably. So, like, just saying, like, and this is where you get into, oh gosh, we're going to have to do this, aren't we? Okay. And this is where we get into, if you get rid of even positive eugenics, no, that's negative eugenics. Negative is when you eliminate, at least according to this article. Negative is when you immigration restriction includes sexual segregation, sterilization, and euthanasia of those with such traits. Yeah, positive includes efforts aimed at increasing desirable traits, while negative refers to efforts aimed at decreasing undesirable traits. So, okay. Now, if you get rid of, I've never thought that you have. If you've ever looked at someone and been like, I would like to date them because they're attractive, you're engaging in positive eugenics. You're picking a desirable trait and wishing to, like, positive eugenics is a biological impulse. Like, that's literally, like, positive eugenics is a biological impulse. It's built into your brain. Your brain goes, oh, I want my kids to have good genes, so I'm going to find people whose genes I think are good based on visible factors. Like, women are generally attracted to men who are more physically fit, are larger, or seem more capable of protection for a variety of reasons, but also because that's good. That's like evidence of good genes, right? Men are more attracted to women with certain body shapes because the reason that men are more attracted to women of certain body shapes is because certain body shapes are more effectively are more efficacious at producing children. So those are all like if you're gonna call, like, if what we like positive is now, so then when we get into positive eugenics, all it is encouraging people who have good traits to breed and intermarry, right? Like, I would say that the Catholic Church in America, the laity, there's a certain wing of the Catholic Church in America, a certain wing of the lay Catholic Church in America, which encourages young people to get married and have children. And we do that because it's good, because God tells us to, but also because, and this is not so quiet, like this is not expressed by all of them, but there are two ways to spread the faith. There's evangelization and procreation. So if you encourage Catholic people to get together and outbreed, like, this is not so quiet on just generally in politics. We say, like, oh, we don't need to worry about the left because we're going to outbreed them, right? That's positive eugenics, right? You're saying, like, I want to engage in reproduction and procreation with people whom I agree. Now, here's the thing. If you take that out, right? If you, like, make that a bad thing, which it clearly is not. Like, positive eugenics is clearly not a bad thing. In fact, I think it's a necessary function of a society for there to be some collective positive eugenics. Like, the common good cannot be achieved unless there are, like, some collective positive eugenics happening, right? And I don't mean through means of, like, I don't mean through like the processes of like forcing people to interbreed or whatever, but like government power, but like the encouragement is a good thing. Now, the reason, so this is why, like, what's happening now is that, in what way are you using positive? In the way that literally I Googled this and everyone uses it this way. Positive eugenics is encouraging good traits. Negative eugenics is eliminating bad traits. No, I'm 100% sure I'm right. I just looked it up 4 times, Ryan. I looked it up in 4 different spots. Positive have included promoting ideas, healthy, achieving people. Negative includes sexual segregation, sterilization, and euthanasia of those traits. Prohibiting marriage and breeding between defective stock. Positive is promoting proliferation of good stock. Yeah, I'm 100% sure I'm right about this. So, Chrysostom asked an interesting question, which is where I was going with this, and I'm gonna full cam so I can get the shock value here. Do you think ideology has a genetic proclivity, so feminism would be self-correcting? What is the word I am Googling to explain to the audience legate? Do you want to take a guess of what the word I'm Googling is? I'll give you a hint. It starts with B. So, the answer is yes, and this is an idea called bio-Leninism. Bio-Leninism is the... Oh, this is a grok answer? That's so dumb. Bro, I thought that was a thread. I need to get this Spandrel book and actually read it. Bio-Leninism is the idea that the left has made themselves, that like leftism prefers traits which are actually counter normal biological impulses, so they are making themselves uglier, and that liberals and leftists are becoming a race slowly, or an ethnicity very slowly. They're transforming very slowly because there's somebody just banging on something outside at 8:26 in the evening. There's somebody just banging on something. Because people tend to engage in a type of personal positive eugenics, which is I want to interbreed and marry. I want to breed with and marry and have children with somebody who agrees with my worldview. Then what you get is, if that happens enough, you get splits. Like, you start to create people who look conservative and who look leftist. So you have, and they also develop different beauty standards. They develop different standards of attractiveness, different social standards, right? So that's why, the Cruel Kids table cover from what magazine was that? The day after the election, or a couple days after the election, the Cruel Kids cover, like the magazine cover that was called The Cruel Kids, looks like it does, but like the Mamdani celebration had the people it had at it, right? Like if you look at the videos of the Mamdani celebration, no, it was not 17 magazine. If I just Google cruel kids table, I'll find it. New York Magazine. There it is. I'll open image in new tab. There you go. This is the cover I'm talking about. That's why this looks like this, right? Like, it looks still very similar. 17 in New York Magazine. Yeah. That's why this looks like this, and like Mom Donnie election party. And this looks like this, right? Like, what do we, like, I can't even find, like, it's a very different look, right? Like, the official, let me try to find the official Mom Donnie election party. Where's that video? What was the line she said? Was it crusty white people? Here we go. Like, here's a Trump election party on the night of the election, right? Here's Mom Donnie's like actual election banquet, the main hall. Like, this dude is wearing a vest and a polo. Like Mehdi Hassan is like an official commentator. He's not even wearing a tie, you know? Random sweater, like hoodie and jeans. Like, this is what this stuff looked like. That's why people look different, right? So, all that to say, when the left calls you a eugenicist, all they mean is you want to have children with someone who thinks like you and looks like you. And if you want something else crazy, okay? I don't know how many of you saw this. Did any of you see the video that the Dutch government, I think it was, put out, telling their citizens that, here it is, I found it. I know Twitter bookmarks are actually a pretty cool feature. They put out a video telling their citizens that they were gonna be like, they So this video, this guy on Dutch television, I think it's Dutch public television, DR Netherlands TV. I think that's DR TV. No. DR. Who is banging on something? Denmark's national broadcaster. So this is Denmark's national broadcaster. And this commercial is telling people that they need to mix with if they don't mix with all of the foreigners that the Dutch government, that Denmark's government is importing, then they will die off. The first people in Greenland died because they were named Danish, not Dutch, Danish. Yeah. It if you want your future children if you want to give your future children the best possibilities, you should probably choose something a little more exotic. This is negative eugenics. This is discouraging traits that you do not want, right? The trait that the Danish government does not want is for you to be white. So you should not be white. You should not have your children be white. This is negative eugenics. They're trying to eliminate the white gene from the gene pool. That's negative eugenics. So, forgive me if when I hear people say we should have babies that I'm not up in arms, because there's no government system or nation in the world that is intentionally saying to that is intentionally trying to get white people to marry white people as white people. They just want people in general to have more babies. But I can point to nations in the West intentionally trying to eliminate white people from the gene pool. So something is rotten in the state of Denmark. Yeah. Atkinson didn't mind being heckled. I've been called a Nazi at least 500 times in my life, he told me with a shrug. He didn't see what all the fuss over pronatalism was about. The message is simple: go have babies, and the left goes nuts. Globally, birth rates are falling. Recent analysis by The Economist suggests that if the current trends continue, the world population is likely to peak at 9.6 billion in 2065 and then tumble. It is even possible that it might stop growing in the 2050s and never exceed 9 billion. America currently has a total fertility rate of 1.6 children per woman, meaning that it is well below the replacement rate of 2.1, the standard estimate of what's required to keep a population stable. But it's still more fecund than Europe or East Asia, parts of which are reckoning with total fertility rates of 1 or less. What's Japan's? Japan's and Korea's are stupid low. 1.2. Dude, what is that banging? 7? Yeah. Wow. Yo, Korea's fucked. What is going on? I'm not kidding you. It sounds like somebody's like hitting something with a hammer outside my house. It's not. No, it's. I can hear my door. I know where my door is. It's like it's over in that direction. Yeah, I can hear it. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna kill something. It's more about race than a lot of people want to think, and at the same time, it's not as much about race as others like to think. That's true. That's true. In many ways, falling birth rates are a symptom of something positive, that more pregnancies are planned and more women are exercising agency over their lives. Less Do you mean a higher percentage of the pregnancies that exist are planned? What is that? Oh my gosh, I'm going insane. I'm losing my mind. Can you guys hear that? No, you can't. Oh my gosh. I'm losing it. It's just inconsistent enough that it's like I can't tune it out. It's just inconsistent enough that I can't tune it out. I'm going insane. In many ways, But the consequences of population decline are uncertain. If each generation is smaller than the previous one, there could be fewer workers to shoulder the burden of carrying the elderly and servicing public debt. You mean is that just servicing public debt? Is that just a fancy way to say Social Security would collapse? Use your microphone to capture it. The mic cable's not long enough to get over there. It stopped for now. AI might compensate for a fall in the number of humans, but it's impossible to say by how much. It's a terrible idea. This is a weird picture. I don't like this picture. It makes me uncomfortable. Everything about that's weird. Serenity now. One way for a country to deal with the shrinking population is to let in more foreigners. Wrong. But immigration is a contentious issue for voters around the world. Populist parties and leaders, particularly in Europe, often marrying anti-immigration sentiments with pro-natalist one, arguing that natives having children is the best way to preserve national identity and culture. Argue that. That's just objectively true. Many governments have tried to bribe people into having more babies. South Korea, which has a TFR of 0.72, the lowest on earth, has spent $270 billion. Over the past 20 years on pro-natalist policies, subsidizing taxis for pregnant women, providing free IVF, and in some towns giving new mothers free housing. This year it began granting couples a cash payment close to 30 million won, $20,000 over 8 years for each child they have. It's got to be more than that. Viktor Orban's government in Hungary spends 6% of the GDP on pro-natalist policies, including lifelong exemptions from income tax for mothers of 2 or more children. Based. Governments need to stop confusing money for status. True. These policies have had little effect on South Korea's low birth rate, has rarely budged. Hungary's is 1.56, lower than its neighbors Romania and Bulgaria, which have spent far less on promoting births. Look, having a child is more like joining the military than going out to dinner. Catherine Pakaluk, a speaker at NatalCon, told me that's why cash incentives don't work. Catherine is a professor of political economy at the Catholic University of America, where her research touches on the economics of family and demography. Women now have all of these wonderful options, which is to be celebrated, but that renders childbearing a choice. No, it is not to be celebrated. Options are not to be celebrated. Why are you lying to this journalist? To understand why people make that choice, Catherine interviewed 50 American women who had unconventionally large families of at least 5 children. One of the things she found was that raising children is a learned skill, something she knew from experience too. I had lots of siblings, so I was always around children. I had a sense of what it would be like to have my own. Catherine now has 8 children and 6 stepchildren. That's interesting. Pronatalists fear that women in low fertility countries are becoming accustomed to being around fewer children and will in consequence find the prospect of having their own too daunting. The result, they say, would be a doom loop that will speed up the rate of native population decline. This prospect has been particularly alarming to pronatalists in America. Yeah, okay. What does that say? Yeah, okay. Spiral. Countries which make it worthy cause to pursue, which brings public honor to mothers, works better than money. I'm not going to do it, but that's true. I'm not going to say the thing you want me to. Pronatalists fear that women in low fertility countries are becoming accustomed to being around fewer children and will, in consequence, find prospects of having their own too daunting. Oh, I understand. I got it. Although the country has long considered itself a nation of immigrants, that's not true. It is in the midst of the sharpest nativist turn in recent memory, and the Trump administration tightens visa rules and deploys immigration and customs enforcement agents to bundle suspected illegal immigrants into vans for deportation. Based. Do it more. To Trump supporters, this makes the need for indigenous population growth urgent. Poso, a cool guy who put Pizzagate on blast, which proves that top Democrats were involved in a child sex ring, and is now a confidant of Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense. On the first night of NATOCon, he declared, "It is not just a culture war. It is not just a political skirmish. Let's speak bluntly. We are in a war for civilization itself. And in that battle, natalism is our sword and shield." The libertarian and religious conservatives at the heart of the Tech-Trad Alliance have proven receptive to this message. They may have slightly different projects, with the trad contingent having larger families in the belief that it accords with their faith, go forth and multiply, and the tech counterparts believing large families composed of bright children and clever parents will lead to a more creative, productive society. But they are bound together by a strong sense that the decline in birth rates is a cultural issue and a symptom of liberal decadence and the short-sightedness of modern culture. True. At NATOCon, tech gurus were conspicuous, sporting t-shirts with their company logos and the occasional Patagonia gillet. I'm not gillet to guard against the aggressive aircon. I'm not sure what that sentence was. So too were the religious conservatives, who were usually dressed in business casual, their press shirts neatly tucked in the crowd was all nearly male and mostly white. Women were present, but were often herding gaggles of kids who could be spotted weaving their way through groups of men chatting about children in the abstract terms while politely ignoring the real ones at their feet. Bro, good grief. That's so not what's happening. So not what's happening. I met one woman who was a mother of 9 with a 10th on the way. She and her family had traveled from a small town in Texas where they lived in what she described as a raggedy farmhouse. "It's hard to meet other people who want families like ours," she said. She saw the conference less as a political gathering and more as a way to build friendships with other Supermax families. Her husband then walked over and repeated that they weren't there for political reasons and declined on her behalf to be interviewed further. Yo, big brain. Go, that guy's awesome. Big brain. He spotted the journo, he went and got his woman, and he said, "Don't talk to journos," and he saved her. Big brain. Big brain. Don't talk to journos. Never speak to journos. Lyndman Stone, a demographer and the head of the pronatalist initiative at the Institute for Family Studies, a conservative think tank, knew the optics of the conference were unpromising. When we met up at NATOCon, he was wearing a Hawaiian shirt that made him stand out from the crowd. We're getting together and all talking to each other about babies, which is kind of a weird thing to do, especially for a group that I don't know. It's like 70-80% men, he chuckled. He understood why women would balk at hanging out with pronatalists. A lot of people associate worries about low fertility with the end of women's rights, with a regressive vision of the future or even dystopia created by Margaret Atwood in her novel The Handmaid's Tale, in which women are simply seen as baby-making machines. That obviously turns a lot of women off from the whole conversation. Why is this part not in quotes? This part isn't in quotes, and that makes me nervous. That's so weird. Like, this part not being in quotes is such a weird thing to do. That picture's worse. I'd liked that one less than I liked the first one. Stone assured me that pronatalism was consistent with protecting women's rights, especially their right to have families they want. At the same time, he said in his voice sincere, a lot of women who are highly pronatal are also more interested in their role as mothers than in their role as conference attendees. Based. Yeah, that's why I wasn't in quotes, it's because it's what they believe. He said his own wife fell into this camp and had chosen to stay at home with their children. The few women who did have a platform in NatalCon were either trad wives, the term for women who voluntarily embraced old-fashioned gender roles, or tech world girl bosses who were keen to show off how deftly they were combining their large families with their jobs. One such career woman was Simone Collins, the former managing director of Dialogue, a secretive members-only organization co-founded by Peter Thiel. She took the conference stage wearing a milkmaid's bonnet, a sly nod to her detractors handmade tail jibes. With a baby strapped to her back was her fourth child, a girl named Industry Americas. Oh no. Why do we let the tech bros hang out with us? Guys, we are the cool ones. The tech bros are not the cool ones. We have to stop letting the nerds hang out with us. Stop letting the nerds hang out with you. You can just tell them to screw off. Don't let the nerds hang out with you, dude. Anybody who names their child Industry Americas, punch them. Unless it's a woman. Punch the dad. Punch the dad. I'm not saying to punch the woman. Punch the dad. Don't do violence. This is clearly a joke. This is a joke. That is a stupid name, though. At the same time, Simone was expecting her fifth baby. Half of me wants to vomit and the other half of me wants to lie down on the stage, she told the audience. She made it through her speech without an incident to rapturous applause. Simone and her husband Malcolm are the two of the most visible tech pronatalists in America. Both in their late 30s, wear thick black-rimmed glasses. Simone's are round, Malcolm's square. Together they lobby investors and developers who they believe can engineer a solution to America's failing birth rate. Let's look them up. Let's look them up. Let's look at what they look like. Oh my goodness. What are all the names? Octavian. Octavian is acceptable, I think. I'll leave that one to Legate. Torsten. I don't know anything about that. Torsten Savage. Torsten Savage. Torsten Savage is a funnier pronunciation, though. Titan Invictus. They named a girl Titan? Come on. You can't name a girl Titan. I mean, good on them for having lots of kids, I guess, but also, like... What are we doing? What? This is so weird. These people are so these people are giving me what? The Collins has stated they were atheists, although at the time they were already promulgating a theological worldview called techno-Puritanism, which they described as an intentionally constructed religion, technically atheist. By 2025, they stated that the belief that God is real. The belief that God is a real entity that actually exists at a different point in time is just so core to our worldview. No, you don't believe in God. He doesn't exist at a different point in time. He just exists. He is. They base techno-Puritanism on the book Martyrdom of Man by Wilmerd, as well as the Bible. They consider both of these works divinely inspired scripture. What? What? What is this book about? Secular Universal History of the Western World. Structurally, it is divided into 4 chapters of approximately 150 pages. The first chapter, War, discusses the imprisonment of men's bodies. The second, Religion of their minds. The third, Liberty, is the closest to a conventional European political and intellectual history. And the fourth, Intellect, discusses the cosmogony characteristic of a universal history. What? According to one historian, the book became a kind of substitute Bible for secularists, in which Reed attempts to trace the development of Western civilization in terms of analogous to those who used natural sciences. He uses it to advance philosophy of political liberalism, social Darwinism. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yo, look. Look at that. Oh, oh, oh. Guys, do not let these people hang out with you. Don't be friends with these people. People who feel the need to make up their own religion, but know that God is real, rather than just trying to know God after they believe God is real, rather than trying to, like, seeking out God, they just, like, go around and, like, come up with random, like, try to come up with their own religion. Don't hang out with people like that. It's so weird. So weird, dude. That's so weird. What is going on? They also offer the Collins Institute for the Gifted, which offers AI-led homeschooling. Gosh, I hate these people more with every sentence. Write books and host a podcast, and have invested in fertility tech companies and a dating app for long-term partnerships between people who want children. All right. Let's listen to the podcast. Let's find clips from their podcast. Let's find clips from their podcast, guys. We got to do it. We got to do it, guys. Guys, we have to do it. This is their podcast? Never mind. Everything I said was false. Hey, super rich people with a podcast and weird thumbnails. Give me money to make your thumbnails and your podcast better. Everything I said, I changed my mind. I was just joking about all of that. I actually think you guys are cool. I don't think you're nerds at all. Give me money to make your podcast acceptable. How do they have millions of dollars and this is what this podcast looks like?
Simone, today is going to be an interesting episode. That is an episode that was spurned.
Oh my gosh.
Simone!
Hello, Simone.
Hello, Simone! Today is
Hello, Simone. Hello, Simone. What are we doing?
going to be an interesting episode. That is an episode that was spurred.
What are these people? I don't know. It's so crazy, dude. Yo, what is the title? I didn't even look at that. I just clicked on the newest video. What is this? The curse of bisexuality worse than being gay across stats, but why? What is happening on the tech bros? The tech bro right. What is going on the tech bro right? I am jealous he has 5 kids. Congrats to Malcolm for the kids. And honestly, good for Simone. But also, stop inventing religions. Just repent and believe in the gospel. I'll pray for you. You should just repent and believe in the gospel. And also, I do support all the kid having, but you guys are weird.
From something that happened as we recorded other episodes, some of which haven't even gone live yet. But basically, we occasionally, when there's sexual statistics, we'll go through them and we'll be like, oh, what's going on here? What's going on here? Right? Because
people typically break things down by, are you gay? Are you straight? Are you lesbian? Or are you bi? Or are you trans? And then
yeah, and every time we've done this, there's been this little phenomenon that I always throw out in the moment, right? It's always like, well, you have the straight people who are typically doing pretty well. Then you have the gay people that are typically doing middling. Then you have the trans people, which are typically doing pretty bad.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, you have the bi people who are off the charts doing bad.
Yeah.
Which is weird because if I was thinking about it, I would think that the data would typically go straight, bi, gay, trans.
Yeah, because especially like if you're bi, it's almost like you get the best of all worlds. Like if you want to live your best gay life, you get to do that. If you want to live your straight life and conform with society, you could do that. Like,
yeah, the last thing I would have expected.
Yeah, you guys got millions of dollars. Give me 10 grand and I'll fix your podcast. I'll do it for 2. That's so funny. This is anti-children. I feel like I was waiting for it. As soon as we pulled him up and we're reading about him, I was like, I literally in my head went, somebody in chat is going to call them controlled antinatalist controlled op, where they just like, they have a lot of kids, but they make it look so dumb that nobody wants to do it. I don't think that's what's true. I don't think that's what's happening. But I was like counting down for somebody to say it in chat, and AJ Lemecki has said it. The NJF one is just them going off on Catholics and American history, saying that Catholics are incongruent with American culture. Well, we are. That's true. They were spurred to take up pronatalism around a decade ago when Malcolm was the director of strategy for a venture capital fund in South Korea. His boss had asked him to model what the country would look like over the next 5 to 10 decades. You know, what will be the biggest industries, basic VC stuff. Malcolm remembers being struck by the country's low birth rate. It doesn't look like Korea has an economy in 100 years. Malcolm told his boss, who he says shrugged it off. That horrified me, he said. It was too late to save South Korea in his view, but he could do something for America. To garner attention for their cause, people needed to hate us, to have a reason to talk about us, so we kept doing things we called media baiting, Malcolm said. The more controversy they caused, he reasoned, the more likely people would be forced to learn about falling birth rates and pro-natalist ideas. That's why he shrugged when I mentioned a Guardian profile of the couple, which revealed that he had slapped one of his children in front of the journalist. When the piece was published last year, it instantly went viral, causing people online to remark that the Collinses seeming dislike of their own children. When you protect a person from any negative emotional stimulus, they'll quickly spiral into anxiety and depression whenever they encounter difficulties in the real world, Malcolm told me by the explanation for his actions. Okay. Is this all right? Whatever. I don't. That's dumb. Either way, I don't care. I'd wondered whether pronatalism was more attractive to people in the tech industry than to say other educated groups in America, because they are some of the few people who can feel comfortably who feel they can comfortably afford to have massive families. But it was clear that even for a couple as affluent as the Collinses, some sacrifice was necessary to raise their brood. Rather than living in an urban tech hub, for instance, they had moved to rural Pennsylvania, where it was cheaper to buy houses large enough for a host of kids. Let me look it up down here. It's on the Philly side of the state. They're on the other side of this. They're on the other side of Pennsylvania. Malcolm and I spoke. I noticed that the Collins' children were wearing the same black polo shirt as their father. Mostly we just have one outfit for the kids that can change with the age. He explained. I noted that it seemed like a pragmatic way to raise children. We're breeding at scale, he responded matter-of-factly, so we need to find ways to be frugal. What is going on? This is crazy. They picked the weirdest people at this conference to interview. The Collins' path into pronatalism tracks transformations in Silicon Valley over the past few years as the tech industry's most prominent chief executives have become more visibly entwined with the Trump administration and the wider MAGA movement. Malcolm Collins told me that he didn't find it difficult to move in the same world as the religious conservatives in Trump's base. It's not a messy alliance. We're not taking jabs at each other regularly. We all know each other. In both camps, there was a sense that they had been fighting against the tide of mainstream liberal culture, what Musk has often referred to as the woke mind virus, and that they, with their heterodox views, were true champions of diversity. A big part of why the tech and MAGA alliance works so well is because we both are just like, hey, leave us alone, stop imposing your values on us, and stop trying to get our kids to adopt your values. I'm going to have to put tea on, I think. Still, some issues between them are tricky to reconcile, including IVF. Technology accounts for only 2% of American births because it's expensive and often not covered by insurance, but some religious conservatives oppose it as the process produces excess embryos. Unborn children in their eyes that are often destroyed, always destroyed. The Heritage Foundation supported last year's decision by the Alabama Supreme Court, which ruled that frozen embryos have the same right as living children. The decree has created confusion over the appropriate storage methods and legal liability of those seeking IVF treatment might face. Dude, what is these graphics are weird, dude. Are they gonna... Is it all just tech people now? I don't want to read about tech people. I don't care. I thought this was going to be like actually interesting. That was boring. That sucked. I need to put I'm gonna put my kettle on and make some tea, but I'm gonna come back after I put the kettle on. Just give me a couple seconds here. Oh, you guys went to jazz? There you go. You can have jazz. Gotta close this YouTube tab. I got Malcolm and Simone staring at me. Hello, Simone. Well, they upped our totals not quite an inch. What are you talking about? How much snow are you supposed to get? It's not tomorrow, is it? I thought it was next week. It's not tomorrow. It's rain tomorrow. We have no snow. Oh. It's like, it's only supposed to snow for like an hour at like 3 a.m. on Monday morning. It does not give me a forecast amount. I wanna go look at more of the Malcolm and Simone's channels, like random stuff. Like, what else are they talking about? They've got anime versions of themselves in the banner. Hello, Catholic Samurai. An anthropology of sassy? What? Alright. They've got these crazy titles. All LLMs will lie to you and kill you. This is good for AI safety. Yeah, this one's true. I remember that one. Viral trend of taking Tylenol while pregnant. They hate us more than they love their children. Yeah. Also, your title's too long. 60 characters. Come on. Why are so many people socialists? Rich kids and Nepo babies. Yeah. France is boned, but how boned? Yeah. These people are hilarious. I can't believe these are real people. Why do racists rarely marry white women? Yo, so true. Wait, does he start every episode with "Hello, Simone"?
Hello, Simone. I am excited to
Wait, does she salute at the start of every episode? Does she salute at the start of every episode?
Hello, Simone. I am excited to be here with you today. Today we are going.
What is going on? I can't decide if I love these people or if I hate them. It's so funny. Did they put Hitler mustaches on themselves? She's autistic, lol. Sometimes it's Simone shouting hello, Malcolm. I need to hear Simone shout hello, Malcolm. I can't find one. Give me hello, Malcolm.
Hello, Simone. I am excited.
Hello, Malcolm. I'm so excited.
Oh gosh, no, it's so cringe. Oh my goodness. Guys, I say all this and you know, it's all a joke. I actually think you guys are great and you should give me money to fix your podcast setup because it's not good. And I do mean that seriously. Your podcast setup, are you guys in the same room? This is how much money do you guys have? This is not okay. Also, move to Steubenville and give us a lot of money. We'll only give you a little bit of shit. We'll only make fun of you a little bit. They're hilarious, and the more you learn about their lore, the crazier it gets. She was a big lefty in college, white chick, grew up hyper rich Texas finance family. Yeah, I know. We were reading about their made up religion earlier. They're so funny, dude. I actually think that I could be friends with these people is what's hilarious.
It's better not to be rational, and he's actually quoting somebody else here, if it leads you to a belief in God, which is really interesting now that we're seeing a fraction in the rationalist community being like, see, I told you guys we never should have been rational to begin with, because if you do, you go crazy and start believing in God.
Would you like to know more?
Hello, Simone. I'm excited to be here with you today. An interesting phenomenon has been happening recently.
They do
which is
clearly like each
well-known
other,
Silicon
which is
Day.
endearing.
Would you like to know more?
Hello, Simone. I'm excited to be here with you today. An interesting phenomenon has.
Yeah, they clearly actually enjoy each other's company, which is endearing. I feel like I could. How do you get like this? Too much money. Too much money. Too smart for your own good. No church. Yeah, they genuinely like each other. It's just that they're weird. I think that they're fun people. But they're weird.
Hello, Simone. I'm excited to be here with you today. Today is almost certainly going to stand among our most controversial episodes.
What if did they just? I just clicked a random episode. I didn't mean to do this, but we had this conversation last night. You know how much I enjoy your personality. You didn't know how much I liked your personality, Samurai, until last night. Yeah, these people are weird, dude. They gotta fix their lighting. They're clearly in the same room.
So why not make humans that can breathe?
But looking at the camera, looking at the screen. Guys, just look at each other. Just put the camera back further and look at each other. What is going on? What is this podcast? What is... what is this podcast? What is... Okay, I'm gonna push play. I have to know what they're saying.
Send you a picture of what pygmies look like when contrasted with a European explorer. So again, remember, morphological differences here. They're like, well, they can breed and create offspring that can breed, but they're morphologically different. That's what they look like.
Yeah.
Also, you can see they
Hold
look.
on. Yeah, I was right. Sorry. There was a pygmy camp designed by Mark Davis for the Magic Kingdom's Jungle Cruise. Yeah.
Also, you note here, this isn't them with children. This is them with a tribe. Okay.
Oh.
You can
so these
see
are
that
adults.
Yes, these are adults.
Oh.
Here, I'll show you. This picture is a bit.
No,
more
some of these are kids. Some of these are kids.
Some of these are kids, but there are a lot of adults in this picture. Okay,
Yeah.
so these are 2 adults with their child. Okay, so you
Hmm.
can know that this is just adults here, not messing with you. Here we go.
Oh yeah, no, like they are a lot smaller. Oh, the little baby.
Well, I mean, it's not the only thing that's different. You'll also note that their breasts look very different from the. If you're not watching this, they look like completely deflated bags. I guess I would call them.
I don't know if you'll be able to show those on YouTube.
Oh, I'll
I
just
don't
block
know.
out that part then, and if you're interested in seeing it, you can go.
Yeah, I think it's a Roman helmet back there. It's 2 of them. There's definitely one here and one here. These people are hilarious. Do they just talk about pygmies for half the show?
Are more aggressive. Many, like woke activists would argue that. And not only that, but they regularly hybridize with each other, and there is some degree of gradient of change between the 2 populations. Continue here.
Yeah.
Grizzly bears and polar bears hybridize. This means have cross-species children, creating.
Oh, so grizzly bears and polars, they do. Oh,
yeah,
that's
grizzly
scary.
bears can. And they split long before the brown bears did, and they create what are called growlers or pizzly offspring. And they can.
I have to look up pictures. Grown.
Oh no, am I autistic too? I have to look it up. I want to see it. I do like these people now. I typed in growler. I mean, it just looks like a bear. Oh, sick. That's cool. Oh, that is a cute bear, dude. That bear looks like it wants to give me a hug. You think that bear wants to give me a hug? Yeah, these people are funny. I like them now, but they're weird. I stand by the weird stuff. They are weird. I do like them though. I haven't seen this yet. Let's watch this real quick.
This video is sponsored by Incogni. When someone says they were born in the year 2002, I automatically think, damn, this is the oldest looking 6-year-old I've ever seen. Well, I won't be using that one when they ask me about the island. I was born in 1996, making me just barely a millennial, meaning I'm somewhat of an expert on my older cohort who thinks doggo, pupper, adulting, and having an actual wedding to a real person they love is still a thing, while also being able to tell Gen Z that making fun of us for skinny jeans doesn't do anything. We inherited housing prices and 3 financial crises from the baby boomers.
Hey, we were just looking at that chart.
You will not even remotely psychologically affect most of us. The first thing we have to do is obviously define the generations, which in the textbook is 1981 to 1996 for millennials and 1997 to 2012 for Gen Z. Problem is it can be hard to tell when you're kinda in the middle, because to the outside observer, Gen Z might look a lot older than they are on account of all the Botox and filler, whereas millennials look a lot younger than they are on account of all the Botox and filler. Meaning you have to look at behavioral cues to tell the difference. Because us millennials are trying so
Yo,
hard
that
to
was
cling on to
crazy.
our youth, we're in fact only differentiable from Gen Z by 3 things: ankle socks, hairlines, and when a DJ says, put your hands up, we do it with an open palm, whereas Gen Z does it with a closed palm. Gen Z does this because you automatically close your hand when you associate with dropping down to the floor, whereas millennials raise an open palm because we don't think Black Lives Matter. While it might
No. No, you can't say that. You're not supposed to say that.
sound like I'm here representing my fellow millennials, I did only squeak in there by 1 year, and there are some millennialisms that are too ancient even for me. Take for example answering the phone. Why? Similarly, Gen X still texts like they have an old school brick phone, meaning all of their messages are like, yo, bring drinks, see you at 5, sunglasses emoji. Which is at least chill and straight to the point. Millennials, in contrast, have all evolved the 2-thumb texting technique, meaning they're able to send you a single paragraph-long text like it's an email that you avoid opening at all costs until you really have to respond. Gen Z, on the other hand, sends multiple messages to indicate punctuation or a different thought, usually ending it with a skull emoji to tell you they've died and will no longer be texting you back. If you're a smug elder millennial who's like, Why does my younger sibling send 4 messages back to back when they could have just typed it in one message? That shit is so annoying. First of all, if you're annoyed because you have your phone on vibrate when I'm texting you, you can stick it up your ass. Second, if you looked at literacy statistics recently,
These used to be. Flame. It's not that good. It's not that good, I don't think. I wanted to read this. Legate. I went deep on the website. I went into the website deep and I found this. The chapter from the book that I thought. The Badgers won today? Really? Did they actually? I didn't know they knew how to do that. Washington is good too. Crazy. What is this? This was what? 12 points at half, 12 to 7 at half, 15. Dude, wow. Yeah, the game was messy. It was raining the whole time. That's wild. Is that everything today? Georgia, Mississippi State, Northwestern, Tulane, Memphis, Citadel. I mean, it looks like it's everything. Man, Wake Forest, that's interesting. Block field goal. There was a year where the Chargers had the number 1 offense and the number 1 defense in the league. And their special teams was so bad that they didn't make the playoffs. I'm not kidding you.
Welcome back to Dorktown. I am John, and this is Alex, and we have come back for a very, very special reason. And that reason is that Alex told me about a football team that we absolutely have to talk about. Alex, what is that football
2010
This is the
Chargers.
San Diego Chargers of 2010.
Right. And on paper,
We don't have time to watch this whole video, but basically there were 3 or 4 bad coaching mistakes on special teams throughout this season that lost the Chargers 4 total games, and it was the difference in them making the playoffs or not. And yeah, Phillip Rivers is based. I have a bunch. Yeah, he's a cool guy. So yeah, the Chargers were insanely good, but the special teams was terrible. This video is very good, by the way. I guess it's called Dorktown. I thought it was Chart Party, but if you just Chargers Dorktown, you'll find it. It's very, very good. If you like football, you'll love that video. Yeah, this I wanted to read this article because it's actually my favorite. This is the article I was telling you guys about that I thought had not been. I thought it hadn't been published online, but it has. I thought it had only been published in the book, but I found it online and it's very, very good. Yeah, here's a great quote. The great liberal thinker Ludwig von Mises once wrote, "Liberalism is not a policy in the interest of any particular group, but a policy in the interest of all mankind." Fair enough, but the problem should be immediately obvious. In whose particular interest is it to maintain the interests of all mankind? Is Mises not suggesting that liberalism must ultimately rest on non-liberal suppositions, or that, at the very least, those who control the state must not themselves be actors within the liberal order, but stand somehow outside that order, in service to some truth greater than the order? There was a contradiction within liberalism, since it relied upon the state that was not self-interested, that cared about the common good, and so still bore the mark of solidarity of the pre-liberal Christianity. This was the last great power of solidarity that was conquered, according to Pius XI, by the liberal ethos of competitive gain. So, yeah, it's very good. You guys should read this article. Whoops. It is called Capitalism Produces Socialism by Andrew Willard Jones. It's on New Polity's website, newpolity.com/blog. You can post it. Oh, yeah, I can put it in the chat. Yep. There you go. So, there's really not any good news news, not like, I mean, there was some good news, but like there wasn't any great news stories to cover or anything. And the Economist article seemed to kind of sucked. January 6th thing was boring, I thought. I mean, it was interesting, but it was just felt like a lot of repetition to keep you scrolling on the page. So I would like to do more tonight, but I think I'm exhausted. Make sure everybody, if you're not in the Discord, go ahead and join the Discord. And throughout the week, send articles or videos you want me to read or react to. And I'm going to have to start looking at articles beforehand, just because it turns out that they suck. That a lot of the articles are not good. So, but yeah, I'm going to go for the night, I think. Just because there's not really much else to cover. Nothing that I'm like especially interested in. The Capitalism Produces Socialism video, I definitely do not have the voice to get through that. And the Phaser immigration article, I just don't. I mean, it was pretty good, but it wasn't like. It was pretty good. You got. I'll post that here too. Well, maybe we'll come back to it. If somebody wants, I'm gonna post these articles. If any of you guys want these articles to be, like, want me to actually revisit the Phaser immigration article, let me know. We will probably do Capitalism Produces Socialism next week. But if you guys come across articles or news stories you want to cover, let me know. But my voice and my throat hurt, so since there's nothing like pressing, I'm gonna go. You guys have a good night. God bless you, and say your prayers.